My guest now is Simon Gosling, Professor of Climate Risks and Environmental Modelling. Welcome, Simon. So, the first question to you is if you could talk us through the courses you offer and how can students pick the right one for them?
So we offer three MSc courses. The first one is an MSc in Environmental Leadership and Management. And this is a program that is really targeted at people who are interested in going into broader scale environmental management. So they'll be thinking about careers where leadership in the environmental sector is particularly important. One of the unique aspects of that program is that there's an opportunity to also gain a level 5 certificate from the ILM, the Institute of Leadership and Management. So we find the students that go on that program very much focused on the leadership and management side of the environment. The second program that we offer is an MSc in Global Environmental Sustainability. This is a course that covers many of the aspects focused on environmental sustainability of the planet. So it's a bit broader than the Leadership and Management Masters. The focus is more on some of the environmental aspects, on understanding the processes involved, the ways we manage the environment as well, but it's more broadly focused on the concepts of sustainability. And then the third MSc that we offer is called Climate Change, Environment and Society. Here the focus is more on climate change specifically. So we're interested in how we manage the climate, how we understand what the risks are, and what the implications are for policy. So the students who would study the Climate Masters, for instance, are going to have a real specific interest in climate change and what it means for society and the natural environment.
That's really interesting. And what are the most exciting developments in sustainability and climate change? And if you also had to comment on how is Nottingham preparing students to thrive in this future growth areas?
One of the most exciting areas that covers all three of these programs is the concept of environmental protection. For many years now, decades, we've been significantly changing the planet. We've been obviously changing the climate, but other aspects of the environment as well. Our rivers, for example, have changed significantly. The land that we have and how we've changed that for different land uses has changed really massively. So there's a real opportunity with these master's courses to look and understand how that change has happened and what we can do to better manage it and protect it for the future. Another really interesting area is also around net zero. So there's a huge focus on achieving net zero globally. In fact, we have to do this to secure a good planet for future generations. And when I'm talking about net zero, we're talking about greenhouse gas emissions. And all three of the programs consider this really important issue. The third issue that I think is also really important is around justice. And this is something that all three programs also consider. We often talk about a just transition, which means transitioning towards a net zero economy in a way that benefits everyone, that is equal and just. And this topic is something that underpins all three of the programs because it's central to how you manage the environment and how you show leadership in it. It's a big part of the climate agenda, and it's also really crucial to ensuring future global sustainability.
Definitely. And since Nottingham is big on research, so how does the research conducted in the School of Geography influence the curriculum and benefit the student pursuing a master's degree here?
Well, we're very fortunate to have several world leaders in our school working in these specific areas. The vast majority of our teaching is research-led. So what students benefit from is very detailed case studies that are drawn upon our own expertise. So to give you an example, within my own research, I work very closely with a lot of international level policymakers on climate change. So in my research, I've helped support global level decisions on climate change, such as the annual United Nations Conference of the Party meetings. One of the things that I do in my teaching is go through that process. And even some of the assessments that I set are based on the kind of work that you would do if you were supporting international level policy. So we often make sure that the work we set for our students and what we teach them, the discussions we have, are very much directed by the work we do within our school. Moreover, within the school, we have expertise in fields such as water. So we have many experts who work on managing water resources from the local scale right up to regional, global scales. Things like how we plan our cities for the future. We also have expertise in biogeography and ecology. and environmental ecosystems, which again is a really important aspect that flows through all three of the master's programs that we offer. And underpinning all of this is our general approach to understanding the environment and the role that humans play in shaping the environment and in improving the environment for future generations.
Finally, how do you prepare students for work, and what careers can graduates look into when they graduate from the school?
So our past students have gone into work in some really interesting areas. Past students have gone on to take on roles in the United Nations, for example. Others have worked for large organisations like AECOM and Atkins. And others have gone on to work in local governments and also in policy support. So the way that we've developed these three programs is to equip our students with the skills, the experience and the knowledge that they need to work within the environmental sector, whether it's in leadership and management, whether it's in sustainability, or if it's more on climate change. And the way that we do that is through having very detailed case studies that we will engage our students with through discussions in our classes, through seminars, for instance, also through the lectures that we provide that, as I've previously mentioned, are very much focused on research-driven examples. And then the other thing that we'll do is we will set assessments that are, in many cases, very practically based. So our assessments will reflect the kind of work that you would do if you were typically going to work in an area such as environmental consultancy, or if you were managing a sustainability team at an organisation, or maybe a policy advisor, for instance. And those kind of assessments are things like blogs, they are things like policy reports or summary cards, they would include posters, group presentations and other verbal presentations, and other written work that we've deliberately put together that means our students aren't just writing essays, they're actually doing pieces of work that directly reflect the kind of work that they would be doing once they've graduated from one of these master's courses.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all these amazing insights.